Barnaby Jones. Starring Buddy Ebsen. Also starring Lee Merriweather. With guest stars Lois Nettleton, Richard O'Brien, Rennie Jarrett. Special guest star Ed Flanders. Tonight's episode, Death on Deposit.
By the end of the week, it'll all be in the computer, Miss Blaseford. Deposits, withdrawals, loans, interest, all of it.
You did a very good job, Bert.
And next week, I'm going to put the special investment accounts and the estates into the computer.
Oh, no, you won't.
Well, the computer can't tell us the whole truth unless we tell it the whole truth.
My father handled those accounts personally, and so do I.
Mr. Sturmer's waiting in your office, Miss Blaseford.
Oh, thank you, dear.
When are you coming by tonight?
I can't tonight, Gail. I've got to run a few checks on the machine.
Bert, I hardly ever see you anymore. We're supposed to be engaged, remember?
Yeah.
Good morning, Al. How can I help you?
Well, I'll get right to the point. It's about my investment account.
$522,448.36.
Right to the penny. You know, I don't know how you keep so many numbers in your head.
Numbers are my business. It's like cattle were yours. There are a lot of things about cattle I'll never understand.
Well, I'll take your weight off your mind. I'm afraid I'm going to be moving my account.
Oh, shush. Now, you'll do no such thing. What's the trouble?
There's no trouble, Ellen. Not with you or the bank. It's just that I'm going to move into a retirement village closer to Los Angeles.
Well, your money will be perfectly safe here. Has been for 40 years.
I know that, Ellen.
It's been here so long, I almost feel as though it's mine. You can always bank by mail, you know.
I think I'd rather have it somewhere closer by.
You know, Papa would turn over in his grave if he knew about this.
I made up my mind, Ellen. I'm sorry.
All right. I'll have the papers drawn up and a check made out, but I won't promise not to try to talk you out of it.
I'll also want to sell off what's left of the ranch. Can you handle that transaction for me?
Certainly.
Good.
And I'll venture a guess you won't get that kind of service at an old big city bank.
Hi, Bert. How's the allergy?
Starting to get those headaches again.
I'll mix you up a little something when I get back to the store.
I'd appreciate it, Doc.
I'll drop by this afternoon.
Don't frown, love. We'll give you lines.
Al Sturmer is withdrawing his money.
All of it?
He's closing his account. There's some papers he has to sign. I thought maybe we could drive out this afternoon.
Well, Al probably needs a refill on that prescription for his arthritis. Maybe I better mix him up a little something before we go, huh?
You do that, darling. I'll pick you up later.
Okay.
Hello, Doc. Ellen?
Good afternoon. I brought the papers for you to sign.
Say, that sure was fast.
Just part of the service. Now, here's the receipt for the check, withdrawal form, limited power of attorney. That's for the sale of the property. You have to fill out a form for everything these days.
Yeah.
Just sign wherever it says signature. Oh, Al, I wish you wouldn't do this. Sure you don't want to reconsider?
Nope. I've just got a feeling I should make a change, Ellen.
Oh, by the way, Al, as long as I was coming out, I thought I'd bring you a refill for that prescription. Those other pills probably lost their potency by now.
Thank you, Doc, but you know, I've given up taking those pills over a year ago. Weren't doing me any good, and you know, when a man gets to be 70, he gets used to just about anything, and well, I guess I'm just getting used to having arthritis.
Take the body out to the pen. We'll put him in with Toby.
It's not so much what I know, Mr. Jones. It's what I feel. They're little things, but they bother me.
What little things, Mr. Sturmer?
The way he died, for one thing. You see, Mr. Jones, my grandfather was a cattle breeder. And when he got older, he sold all of his stock, except his favorite, an old bull named Toby.
That's the one that's mentioned in the coroner's accident summary?
Yes. Now, Mr. Jones, you see, that bull got uglier and meaner by the minute. But no one knew that better than my grandfather did. And he would not have gone into that corral. He had too much respect for Toby to do a thing like that.
Why don't you sit down, Mr. Sturmer? Did you tell us at the police?
The sheriff looked into it, but I think he was persuaded by the fact that my grandfather had gotten old. Now, I submit to you, Mr. Jones, just because a man gets old does not mean he gets stupid.
And you are telling me this, knowing full well that I will agree.
And then there's the boots. He always kept an old pair of boots on the porch. And he never went into the barnyard without first putting on the boots. Never.
And he wasn't wearing them when they found him?
He was wearing his best Sunday shoes.
All right, Mr. Sturmer, I'll look into it.
In there you'll find your retainer, the keys to the house, a letter to his bank, and a letter to the sheriff in Culverton. Good luck, Mr. Jones.
Thank you.
Morning, Sheriff. You got business here, Mr.
Jones. Barnaby Jones. I'm a private investigator. How'd you know I was here?
Miss Minnie saw you pull in. She called Pauline. Pauline called my wife, and here I am.
That's better than a burglar alarm.
I don't know what you expect to find here, Mr. Jones.
Neither do I.
I couldn't find anything to warrant any further investigation. I've been holding Al Sturmer's personal effects for his grandson. If Ralph can trust you, I guess I can. Sign here. There's $47.27 in there.
All right. See to it that Ralph gets it. Oh, here's some mail of Mr. Sturmer's. Must have arrived the day he died. I found it over there on the table.
Never even got a chance to open all of it.
You have these in his pocket?
No, he must have been wearing them. We found them over in the corral. Why?
They're reading glasses. Why would a man wearing reading glasses wander into a corral where there was a wild bull? Sure would like to see the coroner.
Dr. Evans is over in Fairmount, his niece's wedding. You're thinking that it wasn't an accident?
All right, at this point, I'm thinking it might have been anything, including murder.
Man, it'd sure need a darn good reason.
Did Mr. Sturmer have any money?
You just might have found yourself a good reason.
Oh, thanks, Gail.
You're welcome.
Whatever you want to know should be in here, Mr. Jones.
Some of the things I want to know can't be reduced to figures.
Alfred was a very old and dear friend. Oh, here it is. His balance was a little over $800. That, of course, will go to his grandson.
$800? Is that all?
If there's any question, his grandson is welcome to an audit anytime he likes.
No, I'm just surprised, that's all.
Would you put these back in the vault, Gail?
Sure.
Thank you.
I understand Mr. Sturmer was in here the morning of his accident.
He was moving to a retirement community, the Golden Age Village. Matter of fact, one of his canceled checks was made out to them.
Gail.
Those are Miss Blazeford's special investment accounts. Shh. I don't think you should do that.
She can keep the books and the accounts. All I want is an accurate input from the machine.
She's really gonna be mad.
Just wait. She sees how easy and simple this will make her work. She'll love it. Probably even give me a raise.
The shuffleboard is down there by the jetty. Are you the shuffleboard type?
Well, not so you could notice
Well,
it.
there are the tennis courts and badminton, and of course, sailing.
Yeah, that's very nice, but...
Oh, we have everything here, from barbecues to ballroom dancing. And if you don't dance, we even have classes to teach you.
Well, I can manage a few steps.
Oh, well, if that doesn't interest you, we have bridge clubs and chess clubs and backgammon clubs, camera clubs, but best of all, friends. We're just one big happy family. Are you married, Mr. Jones?
No, I'm a widower.
Oh, well, a handsome man like you will find a great deal here to occupy your time.
Miss Porter, what I came out here for was some information.
About Mr. Alfred Sturmer, hmm? I'll bet you thought I forgot. Oh, I was very sorry to hear about his death.
I understand he bought a condominium here.
That's right. One of our evergreen models. He was to have moved in this coming Thursday.
What would his payments be?
Well, he paid $8,000 down, and the rest, $72,000, was due the day he moved in. I made the sale, handled the papers myself.
Is that the way it's usually done?
No, that's why I remembered. He insisted he didn't want to owe anybody anything. In our credit check, our local banker said that Mr. Sturmer planned to deposit close to $500,000.
Well, did you know that he had only a little over $800 in his bank account?
Oh, that's funny. From the way he talked, well, age does funny things to a man. Some men.
Well, thank you very much, Miss Porter.
We'll be seeing you soon, I hope, Mr. Jones.
I'll put those back in the vault.
Why are they out here?
I'm sorry, Miss Blazeford. Bert was putting the accounts into the computer.
After I distinctly told him... Gail, that young man of yours is not to be trusted. Where is he?
I don't know. He had to go on an errand. I'll put these back.
Hello, love. Time for lunch already?
Bert has put the information from my private ledgers into the computer.
I thought you told him not to.
In no uncertain terms.
Well, Bert always was kind of headstrong, like his daddy, old Tommy Munson. Remember him?
Doc, it's just a matter of somebody pushing the right buttons, and it's all there on a computer readout.
Don't go working yourself into a tizzy. The important thing is you found out. We'll take care of it. And I figure it's time you and I took a little vacation.
I can't, Doc. Not with things the way they are.
We'll go to Europe, get married by a quaint little French priest in a quaint little French church.
Soon, Doc. We'll do it soon. But for right now, what about Bert?
Yeah, well, Bert's been working too hard lately. He's been having headaches, he told me. I'll fix him up a little something that'll settle his nerves. Calm him down. No more headaches. No more worries for you, love.
They close at noon on Saturdays.
Hey, having any luck?
Well, I got no answers yet, but a lot of interesting questions.
Well, would you like to try some of them out on me?
You seem to think that Al Sturmer had a lot of money, but all he had was $800 in the bank.
Now, who told you that?
Ellen Blazeford?
Well, it's the absolute truth, then. Anybody in town will tell you if Ellen says so, you can stake your life on it.
Where would I find Ellen Blazeford after banking hours?
She lives in that big ranch house out on Mill Road. You pass by it on your way in from Sturmer's place. That's Bert Munson. He might be able to help you. Hey, Bert, you got a minute?
Mr. Jones here needs some information on Al Sturmer's account.
Oh, Miss Blazeford handled his account personally, but she's gone down to Los Angeles on business. Be back late tonight.
Just want to ask a few questions.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, so do I. But I've got an important date to meet Gail. Tomorrow's Sunday. If you'll meet me here at the bank about 8, we'll put all our questions to the computer.
Good. Oh, Sheriff, did the coroner ever get back?
Dr. Evans. As a matter of fact, I'm going to drop by there tonight for a game of checkers. Why don't you join us?
Sure.
You know, the way you play checkers, you should have been a second-story man instead of a county sheriff.
How about you, Barnaby?
No, thank you. I don't think I could concentrate after reading this. Dr. Evans, I find a couple of disturbing things in your original notes that do not appear in the accident summary.
Disturbing? How?
Well, your description of the blow that was the cause of death, blunt depressed posterior skull fracture 7 centimeters in diameter. That doesn't sound exactly like the type of injury that would have been inflicted by a rampaging bull.
Oh, Mr. Jones, in an accident like this, it's difficult to determine exactly which injury was the true cause of death.
And according to your report, the scalp area in the vicinity of the wound was impregnated by a white powder. Did you analyze the powder?
Didn't have to. It was quicklime. There was a whole barrel of it up around the side of the house. I don't have to tell you, there's 100 uses for it around a country place.
That's true, Doctor. But never around a corral, unless you want a dead animal.
I wish you didn't have to go home tonight.
Starting October 15th, I don't.
I love you.
Hey, Bert.
Hey, hi, Doc.
Hey, get in, will you? Ellen wants to talk to you. She's been going over her accounts. Said she found something that she wants you to take care of before business Monday.
Oh, good. I wanted to talk to her, too.
Oh, I brought you something for your allergy.
Oh.
Better take 2 now, huh?
All right.
Got some lemonade in this thermos.
Thanks. Where is she?
Just relax, son. We'll be there before you know it.
Dizzy.
Yeah, I should have warned you. There's antihistamine in those pills. Might make you a little sleepy. Come on, get some air, huh? It'll pass, really. Don't worry about it.
Miss Blazeford, what are we doing here?
It's a surprise, Bert. A wedding present. This piece of land. I remember you saying that you liked it.
How did you know about the wedding?
No secrets in a small town. By the way, that darling girl of yours told me how you plan to surprise me. Put all my special investment accounts into that computer of yours.
You're not angry?
Of course not, silly. Provided it's as efficient as you say it is.
It's all there. It's all on one reel of tape. Doc, I think I'm gonna be sick.
Which reel of tape is it, Bert?
Doc?
How is it coded?
Doc?
How do I find that reel of tape, Bert?
Bert!
Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Jones. This is Fred Tucker, our pharmacist. This is Barnaby Jones, a private investigator.
How do you do?
Hi.
What can I do for you?
Well, I'd like to have a little closer look at Al Sturmer's account.
Well, this is Sunday, and I keep all the records of the bank.
Yeah, I was supposed to meet Bert Munson over there this morning, but he didn't show up. I tried his place, but he wasn't there.
Yeah, well, Bert's getting married in a couple of weeks. Likely he's got places to go, things to do, huh?
Yes, I wouldn't doubt that. From everything I've been able to find, indication is that Mr. Sturmer thought he had a lot of money in your bank.
Well, you saw the balance, $800. What are you looking for, Mr. Jones?
A motive for murder.
Who would have murdered poor Alfred?
Well, maybe when I find out why, I might also find out who. You see, people are still killing other people for the same reasons: love, hate, jealousy, money.
Murder? Well, my goodness, that certainly would be a first for Culverton. Well, in any case, I'll be more than happy to help you. Why don't I meet you at the bank in 1 hour?
I'd appreciate that. Nice to meet you, Mr. Tucker.
You too.
goodness. He's one loose end I'm afraid is going to give us a bit of trouble.
Don't you worry, love. Mr. Jones gives us any trouble, I can whip up just the cure for you.
You're too good to me, Doc. You're just too good to me.
Hi, Sheriff.
Good morning, Gail. How are you?
Sheriff, I can't find Bert. Have you seen him?
Well, not this morning.
Well, I stopped by his apartment. He hasn't been home all night. His bed hasn't been slept in.
Well, we better start looking for him. Come on. Get in.
Mr. Jones, these records cover every transaction between Al Sturmer and the bank for the last 10 years. Do you need to go any further back than that?
He made some rather heavy withdrawals over the last 4 years.
And some sizable deposits. Mr. Sturmer was a very successful man.
Big withdrawal. There's one for $151,000, $73,000. Altogether, they come to well over $500,000. I wonder what he did with all that money.
Well, you never could tell what Alfred was up to. Could be he buried it someplace.
You mind if I borrow these for a few days?
I certainly do. They are the property of the bank.
Well, I wonder if I could have copies. I saw a machine over there.
Of course.
Oh, could I make a collect call on your phone, please?
Go right ahead.
Thank you.
Barnaby Jones' office, may I help you? Barnaby, how'd you know I'd be here?
Well, I knew you had a hair appointment on Saturday, so you would never have finished the quarterly reports and would have had to come in today to finish up before I got there on Monday.
All right, now that I'm properly dazzled by your fancy footwork, what do you want?
Well, this being your day off, I figured you might want to drive up here and give me a hand.
Oh, you did you? All right. Give me a half an hour to finish up here and an hour to drive up there, all right?
Fine, I'll see you then.
I don't mean to rush you, Mr. Jones, but if that's all you need.
That's all at the moment, thanks.
Bert, are you in there?
Excuse me.
Oh, Miss Blaseford, I've been looking for Bert, and when I saw that
he's
you
not
were
here, Gail. Good morning, Sheriff.
We looked all over town for him. He wasn't at home all night. Nobody's seen him.
Oh, well, I don't think there's anything to worry about. Maybe he just drove into Los Angeles for the day.
He wouldn't do that without telling me. We were supposed to talk to the minister at 10:30.
Well, he was supposed to meet me here at 8 this morning.
Well, it's a little early to call it a disappearance, but it's not like Bert. He'd have left word with somebody.
I agree. And when an officer of a bank disappears, people do conjure up all sorts of reasons.
What are you suggesting?
Nothing. Nothing at all. But I would like you to stay and run a few things through the computer for me. Just a precaution. I'm sure the sheriff will find Bert.
Al Sturmer was neat as apple pie.
Oh, place for everything and everything in its place.
Just one thing missing.
What's that?
$520,000.
Oh, maybe he wasn't as neat as you thought he was.
Maybe if you went through all those drawers and took out the papers, you might find it stuffed away in there somewhere.
$520,000 in there?
Or a note or receipt that indicated where it went.
Yes, sir.
Well, there's nothing wrong here. You see, I just have an overactive imagination. Oh, you must be tired. Why don't we finish this up tomorrow?
All right.
Oh, Gail, that tape Bert made from the investment account ledgers, where did he put it?
Well, it should be with the others.
Oh, would you give it to me, please?
I'll put it on the machine first thing in the morning.
No, I'd like to have it now, just for safekeeping.
But, Miss Blaisford, what could be safer than a bank vault?
Don't argue with me, Gail. Give me the tape.
Here you are.
Thanks. Would you lock up on your way out?
Sure.
Honey, don't worry about Bert. I'm sure he has a very good reason for not being here.
You get it?
Right here.
This is a brand new reel of tape. Box hasn't been opened yet.
Now I know why you didn't want Bert to put those accounts into the computer. You've been stealing from them.
Oh, my. Now look whose imagination is running away with them.
Well, Bert can prove what you did. Where is he? You know where he is, don't you?
Yes, poor Bert. He absconded. Stole $2 million of the bank's money and ran away.
That's a lie.
Easy, girl.
Of course, he'd never leave without planning for you to join him. Don't worry, love. We'll help. Take her to the back door. I'll drive my car around.
Come on. Come on.
It's the sheriff. Put her in the vault. Oh, hello. What can I do for you, Sheriff?
Gail's still here?
No, she left about 20 minutes ago. You didn't find Bert, did you?
How'd you know?
Well, I've been going through the books, and I'll have to have a complete audit before I can know how bad it is, but it doesn't look good.
Was it bad enough to put out an all-points bulletin to the Highway Patrol?
I'm afraid so.
Okay.
Oh, now, don't worry, love. We'll come back for her later.
Please. Let me out, somebody. Please.
Every withdrawal, every deposit is recorded right there in his ledger, except these, where he used a special bank withdrawal slip.
Well, they are legal. I've used them myself.
Doesn't it strike you as strange that he signed them all with the same pen?
Oh, the same kind of pen. Banks buy those by the gross.
Did they all skip?
Cheap pens, maybe?
On the day that he died, Shermer walked down to the mailbox and picked up the mail. And he walked back to the house, looking at the mail. And right about here, and somebody or something interrupted him.
You tell me how you know that.
Good. I found the mail right over there, partially open.
Well, that would explain for him wearing his reading glasses.
Yeah, now the question is, what interrupted his attention to his mail? Eddie, would you write your name for me, please?
Sure.
Right there. Do it again. More.
Skips are almost exactly alike. Do you think that these slips were all signed here?
And what's more likely, all on the same day. That means that somebody had to fudge around with the dates on $500,000 worth of withdrawal.
I wonder how she got Mr. Sturmer to sign these blank withdrawal slips.
Maybe he thought he was signing something else. And don't forget, everybody trusts Ms. Blaisford.
You know, we deserve a celebration. Everything's going along perfectly.
Oh, Doc. It's gonna be so grand. You were right, as usual. It's time to go. I think I'm just a little tired.
All work, no play, love.
Why didn't we get married years ago?
No, you know what they say. Marry in haste, repent at leisure. Looks like they're on their way down to the sheriff's office.
It's all right.
You know, I don't think that man is half dumb.
Hardly anyone is these days. Well, darling, the books are finished. Now we do something about Gail, and we're on our way.
We can't move her with Jones on the street and the sheriff in town.
Hello, Sheriff. This is Ellen Blaisford. I was wondering if you could come out here to my place. I have something I'd like to show you. Fine. Oh, and if you run into Mr. Jones, would you bring him along with you? He is? Well, that's very convenient. Yes, it concerns Arthur Sturmer's estate. I may have an answer for you. All right, I'll expect you. Bye.
You are a prize, sweetheart. You are a prize.
Have you prepared for Gail?
Now, what happens when they show up at your place and we're not there?
I'll take care of that. You let me know when they leave town.
Might as well take my car.
That's all right. We'll take this one.
You know where she lives?
Barnaby.
I've been there.
Barnaby.
You drive.
Barnaby, we were just...
That's the trouble working with relatives. They don't know how to take orders.
Go on, love.
Hello? This is Ellen Blaseford. May I speak to the sheriff? Oh, that's too bad. Well, if he calls in, would you tell him that I had to go and pick up some information? And if I'm not at the house when he arrives, tell him just to wait. I should be back in a little while. Thank you. All right, Doc? Let's put the icing on the cake.
Barnaby, can I ask you a question?
Sure, why not?
Well, we drove past her home on the way into town, and there was no one there.
We didn't see her car on the road on the way back, so what's your question?
Why are we going back?
We're not. You're going to turn around right up here.
Barnaby, why?
I think somebody wanted to see us out of town. They have. Now we're going to find out why.
Please let me out! Please! No! No, please don't! No, stop, please! No! Let me out of here. What are you doing to me?
We're going to take you to see Bert, dear girl. You do want to see Bert, don't you?
Where's Bert? What have you done to him?
Stop it. Yes, stop it. You're only making it harder on yourself.
No!
No reason for you to feel any more pain than Bert did.
You killed him! No!
There's a car right there.
Drop the gun, Doc.
All right?
It's all right, love. I told you we should have gone a long time ago. No, you wanted more, always more. I could have been content with a lot less. I always knew. Greed would be your downfall. Don't you agree, Mr. Jones?
I guess I belonged in there somewhere.
Mr. Jones, this isn't easy to say, but I want to thank you for finding something that I should have found myself.
Well, I wouldn't take it that way. Let's just say that it's easier for a stranger to suspect someone of murder than for you to suspect your own friends and neighbors.
Yeah, but I'm having a little trouble believing it. Poor Bert. Of course, Ellen is trying to blame it all on Doc.
How is he?
He'll recover. But he's as crazy as a bedbug. He keeps telling me when he's up and around he's going to fix me a little something for my bursitis.
Well, maybe he just has a forgiving nature.
Maybe. But I don't have bursitis.
Barnaby Jones, starring Buddy Ebsen. Also starring Lee Merriweather, with guest stars Bill Bixby, Louise Troy. Tonight's episode, To Denise with Love and Murder.
Alex, are you going out?
Well, yes, I was heading over to the club for a bit. Why, did you have something on?
Oh, no. I just hoped we might do something together.
Oh, well, good. Then why don't you come along with me? Maybe we can get up a foursome.
Why don't we make it a twosome?
And what do we do? Go to the park? And I'll carve our initials in a tree. Alex loves Hazel.
Oh, Alex. Am I being that tiresome?
No. You're being affectionate and possessive. And obviously very proud to be seen with your husband, and I love it.
Oh, I'm sorry. I seem to be doing a lot of apologizing lately, and I don't know why.
Nor I. You don't have to apologize.
Mrs. Chandler, you wanted on the phone.
Who is it, Martha?
I don't know. They wouldn't give a name.
Oh. Well, I'll take it in the sitting room. Hello, Alex.
Hello. Well, what's this?
It's a little party, darling.
A little party is for two.
Well, I have a surprise for you.
Mm-mm.
Your wife is joining us.
The joke's in bad taste.
I may not know too much about good taste, Alex, but it's no joke. I phoned her and I invited her.
I don't believe it. Denise, you couldn't be that stupid.
What's more, darling, she's coming.
Do you know what you've done? I mean, do you have any idea?
She had to be told, Alex, and you kept putting it off. Look, Alex, it has been 6 months. I gave up my job. I've been stuck in this apartment. Are you getting a divorce? Are we ever getting married or not?
What did you say to her?
Nothing. I simply told her that it was time we sat down and worked out a settlement for her.
A settlement? We're gonna pay her off with what?
Look, don't you pretend you haven't got plenty of money. I know where you live and you drive a Rolls Royce.
You don't know anything. Now, I want you to call her back on the phone right now. You tell her you made a mistake. Do you understand? You tell her you got in touch with the wrong Mrs. Chandler.
Just a minute, Alex.
I'm telling you to call her right now, and I don't care what you say, but you keep her away from this place.
You don't have any money, do you? It comes from her, doesn't it?
Call her!
It all comes from her, doesn't it, Alex? The money for the gifts? My ring? Well, I bet you she's even paying for this apartment. She's rich and you're... What are you, Alex? There's a word for men who marry rich, old women. What is it?
I'm telling you to shut up.
Come on, Alex. Say it. Say it, you gigolo!
Denise, I'm sorry. Denise.
Alex.
Oh, Hazel, since you didn't want to go out, I decided to take a drive. I almost got hit by a drunken driver. It really shook me.
Why don't you stop lying, Alex? I know all about you and Denise Fraser. She asked me over to discuss a settlement. For me. Isn't that a laugh?
Hazel. She's a silly little airline stewardess I met on a plane. She thinks she's in love with me. I've had absolutely nothing to do with her. Please believe me.
If this were the first time, I might. But it's a little late for that now.
Now, look, you've got this all wrong. Now, give me the bag.
Let me go.
Give me the bag.
Now, you understand, I want to help because, after all, that is what I'm selling. But to tell you the truth, Mr. Turlock, I'm not quite sure in my own mind exactly what it is you want.
I'm sorry, Mr. Jones. I'm afraid I haven't expressed it very well.
Well, let's see if we can work it out. Now, you say that you're afraid that something has happened, or is happening, or is going to happen to your sister, Mrs. Hazel Turlock Chandler.
Yes, that's it exactly.
What?
Well, that's the problem, don't you see? Nobody knows. Poor Hazel hasn't been seen for 2 weeks. Alex won't let anybody in the house.
Alex, that's your brother-in-law.
He's my sister's husband.
And you telephoned, of course.
Of course. Alex always answers, always gives the same reply. My wife isn't well enough to see anybody. And that includes her own doctor. I tell you, Mr. Jones, poor Hazel is a prisoner in her own house.
You say that literally. It is her own house.
It's all hers. Everything. Man is an absolute fortune hunter. That was obvious from the start to everybody except poor Hazel. And now he's going to murder her. If he hasn't already done it.
Well, I think you ought to go to the police.
Mr. Jones, I have been to the police. They say that there's no evidence that any crime has been committed. And so they're powerless to do anything. I don't know what we pay taxes for.
All right. All right, I'll try to see what I can find out about your sister. Now, my secretary will take care of all the details.
Thank you, Mr. Jones.
Yeah. Aphids.
Could you please not lay on the bell? There's a very sick woman in the house.
Oh, I'm sorry.
What do you want?
Well, I'd like to see Mrs. Alex Chandler.
Well, she cannot be disturbed right now. If there's anything I can do, I'm her husband.
Well, no, I have some papers that require Mrs. Chandler's signature.
Yes, why don't you just give them to me? I'll have her sign them, and I will mail them to you.
Well, I'm afraid that won't do because I have to witness her signature. It'll only take a moment.
Then you'll have to come back another time. She's too sick to see anyone. Doctor's orders.
Well, if she's under doctor's care, I could get her an extension. The doctor's name is...
Look, I don't give a damn about your extension. I haven't got time to stand here and talk to you. Good day.
Mr. Chandler, you gotta spray your roses.
Are you looking for someone?
Are you Martha?
That's half my name.
Well, I apologize for the informality, but the only information I had was Martha, this address, and you used to be Mrs. Chandler's housekeeper.
I'm still her housekeeper. Who gave you that information?
Charles Turlock. He hired me to... Well, he was worried about his sister's health, and he thought maybe you might know how she is.
You some kind of a policeman or something?
A private detective hired by Mr. Turlock.
Well, I suppose you better come in. But I'm warning you, you're not going to get anything out of me. Because what I see in that house and what I hear in that house stays in that house.
Nice sentiment, but you might be of help. No one has seen or spoken to Mrs. Chandler in the last 2 weeks.
I wouldn't know about that. I've been off for 2 weeks.
Why?
Well, they didn't need me, of course.
Here, let me help you with that. When was the last time you saw Mrs. Chandler?
I just told you, 2 weeks ago.
Ah, so you did, Martha. Was that when she laid you off?
I wasn't laid off. Besides, it wasn't her. Mr. Chandler called me the next morning and said he wouldn't be needing me for a few days.
Was Mrs. Chandler ailing or anything?
She was going out for tea. Now, does that sound like ailing?
Would you know with whom?
The name was Denise Fraser. And don't ask me who she is, because I never heard of it before.
You mean she invited Mrs. Chandler to tea and Mrs. Chandler went with a stranger?
A stranger to me isn't necessarily a stranger to her.
Would you know where?
As a matter of fact, I do. Mrs. Chandler asked me to look it up for her in the map. It's in Glendale on Dadeland Street. But that's the last word you're going to get out of me.
I respect your discretion, Martha.
Mrs. Durant to you.
Mrs. Durant, thank you very much, and the best of luck to you.
Well, when you've been managing apartment buildings as long as I have, Mr. Jones, nothing surprises you. Especially the tricks they pull to try to duck out on the rent.
I'll bet you're not often fooled, Mr. Woodford.
No. Oh, right here. Right here is where I found the box with the things. Now, you take Miss Denise Fraser. Good-looking girl. Really built. Lives alone. And as far as anyone knows, no job. Okay, enough said.
I am reading your mind.
No, right away, I said, I got her pegged. She'll take off secretly, dead of night. 2 weeks ago, she did.
Denise Fraser. Take 3 times a day. Is all she left?
Yep. Found her over there by the elevator where I showed you. Like she laid it down, then forgot it.
Maybe she didn't have room for this stuff in her car.
Oh, I doubt that, Mr. Jones. She drove away in a Rolls Royce.
Did she now? Secretly, in the dead of the night. How do you know this, Mr. Wolford?
I used to pass her in the hall, right up and down the elevator with her. She wasn't a very friendly type. As a matter of fact, she turned out to be downright unfriendly. She flattened me with the heel of her shoe.
Why would she do that?
I was looking at her car. Well, I don't think it was hers. There'd never been a car in that parking space until that night. I came upon her when she was skipping out. I guess she thought I was going to blow the whistle on her. If I'd have known, I'd have helped her move.
Did you happen to get the license number?
Mr. Jones, I got hit in the head with a shoe. They don't have license numbers.
All right, mister, hold it right there. I have a gun on you. And if you don't believe it, make a quick move. What are you doing here?
Well, I haven't got these papers signed by your wife yet, and you told me to come back later.
She's asleep, and not in the garage.
Well, I could see that. What kind of car does your wife drive? A Rolls, isn't it?
That's right, but I don't think that's any of your business.
There's no car of any kind in there now. Did she go away somewhere, Mr. Chandler?
I told you. Let me see that. This has nothing to do with my wife. What do you want here? Maybe we should let the police take care of this. Never mind, just get out of here. And don't try it again. Next time I'll shoot first.
Your sister was last seen 2 weeks ago when she left her house to visit a Denise Fraser.
Who is she?
I was counting a lot on your telling me who she is.
She's no one I ever heard of.
All we know about her is that she is a good-looking young lady who lived alone in an apartment in Glendale, minus job or car.
Why would Hazel go to see her?
I don't know, but I know that she went. A car just like hers was seen in the garage of the apartment house. Now it's missing.
Do you think it's enough to force the police to take action?
Yeah, I think so, along with the fact that Lieutenant Taylor's an old friend of mine.
If Mrs. Chandler has been missing for 2 weeks under somewhat mysterious circumstances, why wait until now to report it?
Well, in the beginning, the circumstances were not that mysterious. Quite the contrary. You see, Lieutenant, my wife has been going through a stage, slight emotional problems, and when she got upset, it was not uncommon for her to just jump in the car and drive off.
Where?
La Jolla, Santa Barbara, usually to visit friends, and, well, to save her embarrassment, I would cover for her by saying she was upstairs with a headache, and in a few days she'd come back, and no one ever knew she was gone.
And this time?
I called La Jolla, Santa Barbara, Palm Springs, and none of her friends have even heard from her.
And that's when you decided to turn in a missing persons report.
Well, first, I called my lawyer for advice.
Well, I told Mr. Chandler to hold off a while longer until I made some inquiries.
And I'm sure you wouldn't be here, sir, if you'd found out anything.
Well, I found out that Mrs. Chandler's family and friends in the city no longer believed she was at home sick. And it was becoming an increasing source of embarrassment to Mr. Chandler.
Oh, now, of course, the most important thing is, I'm worried sick. Well, good morning, Charles. I was going to ask what you were doing here, but now that I see your friend, I think I can guess.
Where's my sister? And don't tell me she's homesick. I know she's not there at all.
I'm afraid that Hazel has disappeared, Charles.
What have you done to her? She's dead, isn't she? You killed her and hid her body. You murderer.
Oh, murderer! Well, I hated to do that, Charles. But I had no choice.
Let's go, Alex.
Take him to the washroom and put some cold water on his nose.
Were you waiting to see me, Barnaby?
Well, I was, but I got a feeling that it's going to be a waste of time now. The housekeeper said Mrs. Chandler left at 3 p.m. to visit a woman she didn't know. Several hours later, her car was still in that apartment house garage.
A witness saw a Rolls that may have been Mrs. Chandler's car, Barnaby.
The tenant said he saw Denise Fraser check out of her apartment and a tearing her in drive away in a Rolls Royce. Mrs. Chandler hasn't been seen since, and neither has her car.
Anything else, Barnaby?
Yes. Her brother thinks she's been murdered. What's Chandler's story?
He says his wife took off in a snit, leaving this note behind.
But did Mrs. Chandler write the note?
Turlock admits that it's her handwriting. Of course, it's undated.
Oh, well, then.
Well, you gotta hand it to Chandler, Betty. He saw things coming to a head,
So he moved first.
Well, if he's so clever, why did he lie about her being in the house?
Well, if she's dead, he's bought himself 2 weeks to cover up his tracks.
And Denise Frazier?
Now, there is a young lady that could throw a lot of light on this case.
If you could find her.
I was going to say that. You know that box of junk she left in her garage? Well, there was a half bottle of pills in there. She's on some kind of medication. Now, if she has that prescription refilled.
Did you get the name of the pharmacy?
No, I didn't.
Barnaby!
I was going to say that I slipped the bottle into my pocket, absent-mindedly.
I wonder if I might be able to get a prescription refilled. Yes, Denise Frazier, 175062. Yes, that's Dr. Belfield. You do deliver, don't you? Oh, good. I just want to make sure that you don't send it to my old address. Right. Thank you very much. Try the Beckwith in Westchester. It's one of those swinging single apartments. Try it, you might like it.
I just might.
Welcome aboard. I'm Sherry.
Barnaby Jones. Is Denise a stewardess, too?
Oh, that's all we have here, Mr. Jones. 4 of us share this place. Even though it doesn't look like it, we're hardly ever all here at once.
Why did Denise move out?
Well, all I can tell you is Denise met a man. She just quit her job and took off. She might have married him for all I know.
I don't think so.
Oh, he already was. Well, that's standard. Poor Denise.
Where might she go if she broke up with him?
Back to work, I guess. She's still a stewardess, Mr. Jones. She could deadhead on any flight anywhere in the country.
Or out of the country?
Sure.
Do you happen to have a picture of her?
I bet you've seen a picture of her plenty of times and never knew it. There she is.
Oh, so that's Denise. Very pretty girl. Do you mind if I keep this?
Oh, sure. Tear out the page.
Thank you very much. You know, Denise was taking some sort of a medication for something. Do you know what it was for?
Uh-huh. Air sickness.
Barnaby, maybe you have nothing better to do than stand around drinking milk in the middle of the day, but I'm a working stiff.
Maybe I can lighten your load, little Joe.
Mrs. Chandler?
Yeah. You turn anything?
We only got it this morning. Don't tell me you found it.
Nope. Looking for Denise Frazier. She was a stewardess until she quit her job when she met a man.
Alex Chandler?
Why not?
Where's the stewardess?
I figure she caught a plane out of town, and I also figure she may have driven that Rolls Royce out here. I talked to the parking lot people. People do that, you know. They leave their cars out here for days, sometimes a week. But longer than that, it gets a little noticeable, especially if it's a luxury job like this.
Yep.
Keys are on the visor.
Of course, you checked it out already.
Even looked in the trunk.
very funny.
No, Joe, it's not funny. See the dark area on the rug? Blood? Blood.
I understand Lieutenant Taylor is here.
Isn't he always? We seem to be spending all of our time together. I wish I could feel that all this was helping Hazel. Mr. Jones.
Hello, Barnaby. Were you looking for me?
Yep. Well, perhaps you gentlemen would like to use this room to talk.
Well? The stain we found in the car trunk was blood. Type AB. Chandler's type O. We also found hair, woman's hair, skin scrapings, cloth fibers. Barnaby, I think he killed his wife and hid the body.
Are you ready to make an arrest?
Without the body, the evidence is circumstantial.
Sorry, Lieutenant. Can we see you upstairs for a minute?
Right. I'll hang around for a while, Barnaby.
What is it?
I don't know.
Mr. Jones, I know you think I killed my wife, but you couldn't be more wrong. Now, she's alive somewhere, I know that.
Why would you stay away so long?
Maybe she doesn't realize she's missing.
Front page story.
Then she must be someplace where she can't see a newspaper.
No radio, no TV? Where could such a place be?
I don't know where and I don't know why, but I do know she'll turn up somewhere, alive and well.
These your boots, Mr. Chandler?
Well, I think it's safe to assume that all of the men's apparel in this house is mine. Why?
Well, one of our technical men says there's a stain. Says it could be blood. Now, Mr. Chandler, until we can check this out, I don't think you ought to leave town or anything.
Yes.
Mr. Chandler.
You following me?
I'm afraid I did. When I saw your face when Taylor showed you those shoes, I thought you might make a break for it.
No. You couldn't be more wrong. After you left, I got a lead on Hazel. I think I know where she is.
I wouldn't question that for a minute.
She's alive. If you just give me 6 hours, I'll produce her. I give you my word.
That's out of my hands, Chandler. The police are on their way here now. All I'm supposed to do is delay you.
Where's Jones? I've got to see him.
Mr. Turlock, just a second. I'll see if he's busy. Mr. Turlock?
He's out. He's been released.
Chandler? How do you know?
It was on the news. I heard it on the car radio.
Betty, get me Lieutenant Taylor.
Right.
They arrest him one day and release him the next for murder? How can that be?
Well, that's what we're going to find out.
But he murdered my sister, and now he's out walking the streets. What kind of a police department do we have?
Mr. Turlock, just settle down.
Barnaby, Lieutenant Taylor on line 2.
Joe?
Yeah, Barnaby. Yeah, your information is correct. His lawyer got him written out in his custody. 5 days. We've either got to charge him or kick him loose.
Well, the blood on Chandler's shoes matched that in the trunk of the car, didn't it? Well, that's your connection.
Yeah, but the DA wants to see a body, and we can't find it. What attempt to flee the country? He had a ticket to New Mexico.
New Mexico?
Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Betty, give me the business office of the phone company, talk to my friend there, ask him if they have any record of any phone calls between Albuquerque and the Chandler house recently.
Mr. Jones, what's this all about?
Denise Fraser is in New Mexico. I'll bet you that Chandler was on his way there to pick her up and then on to Canada or Brazil or someplace out of the country. That's the only way it makes sense.
They're checking the billings now. Yes. 2 recent calls to Albuquerque. Charged to that number? 1 call there, 1 collect call from Albuquerque. And the name of the party, I'm sorry, in Albuquerque? Logan's Trading Post? Outside of Albuquerque. Thank you.
Yeah, this feller called me long distance from Los Angeles. He wanted to know if anybody was staying up to the old Double Circle Ranch. Well, shucks, mister, I said. We ain't had a delivery up there in 5, maybe 6 years. Place is all boarded up, tumbled down. Ain't nothing up there no more. So he said, well, now, if you ain't been up there, how do you know that somebody ain't staying up there?
I guess he had you there.
I reckon you're right. So I said to this fella in Los Angeles, I said, the next time the boy has a run up that way, I'll tell him to stop by and have a look around. I bet you'd never guess what he saw.
A woman.
Yeah, a woman.
Good afternoon, miss. Denise Fraser?
No.
Is she around?
No.
You mean she's gone?
No, there never was anyone here by that name.
There never was? I could have sworn that... You mean I made this trip from Los Angeles for nothing? The name doesn't mean anything to you? Well, thank you very much. Miss Chandler!
Yes?
Miss Chandler! Don't you know what's happened? Everybody thinks you're dead and buried.
Really? How did I die?
You were murdered. By your husband.
You seem to know a great deal about my affairs, Mr. Jones.
I know you left your house to call on Denise Fraser. After that, nothing.
Do you know who she is?
I suspect she's your husband's girlfriend.
She wasn't home. At least she didn't answer my ring. I don't know why. So I decided to go away somewhere, think things out. Then Alex came home with the car. We had an argument. I left. I had to find a place Alex couldn't think of. I remember the ranch.
So you bought an airplane ticket under a different name?
Yes, my first husband's name. And I came here. And I've been here ever since. Did Alex kill Denise Fraser?
There were bloodstains in the trunk of your car and other evidence. There must have been a body there.
I suppose she was very young and beautiful.
Oh, yes. I never saw her, but I have her picture.
Please. She is lovely. They look so nice in those uniforms. That's how we met her. Alex is a pilot.
He was.
What is it, Mr. Jones?
I was just thinking, if I wanted to get rid of something like a body, and I could fly an airplane, I'd just fly it about 100 miles out into the Pacific and forget about it.
Horrible.
If the police had that airplane, there's always a certain amount of evidence. They could tie it up with the trunk of your car and Alex's shoes. Mr. Chandler own his own plane?
No.
No, that would make it too easy.
Hello. Hello. Hazel? Hazel, where are you?
Alex, I just saw a newspaper for the first time in 3 weeks. What's this nonsense that I'm missing?
Oh, it's just a mistake. Where are you? New Mexico, yes, I thought so, yes. Well, now, darling, look, why don't you just get right back here, home, where we can straighten everything out?
Don't worry about it, Alex. I'll just call the Los Angeles police and tell them.
No. No, darling, I think we really should talk it over first. There's been much too much notoriety about this, and Look, why don't we meet someplace?
No, I can't, Alex. I sprained my ankle walking along the canyon.
Oh, well, darling, you shouldn't have done a thing like that. I mean, you might have fallen all the way to the bottom. You could have had a serious injury. You're all alone. Nobody knows you're there. Well, you might not have been discovered for weeks. No. I'll tell you, you just stay there, and I'll be right down to get you. No, I won't hear of it. I want you to stay there. You get some sleep. I'm flying down immediately. And I'll be there by the crack of dawn. Yes. Oh, and darling, I do love you very much.
Good evening, Mr. Chandler. Following me again? Afraid so, but it's been very profitable. You're a pilot.
What about it?
Well, you must see that answers the big question, where you hid the body. Out to sea, and nobody will ever find it.
Mr. Jones, I'm going to tell you this one more time. I did not murder my wife. She is not dead, and by tomorrow I'll be able to prove that.
Well, I'm not talking about your wife. I know she's alive. You murdered Denise Fraser.
Jones,
I've taken just about all I'm going to out of you.
You know, there's bound to be traces of blood and skin and clothes in there, just the same as in the car trunk. And blood is very hard to wash out completely, Mr. Chandler. I might say almost impossible. If this is a plane you used to dispose of Denise...
It isn't.
If it isn't, I've blown the whole case against you. But it is the one, isn't it, Mr. Chandler? I guess that's as good an answer as anything.
Get in the plane.
For a ride out to sea?
No, this time I'm taking another direction. Over mountainous terrain, but they won't be able to find you. Get in.
You don't think I'm fool enough to confront a murderer at night in a dark hangar alone, do you?
Cops?
Yep.
Well, it looks like they didn't make it.
I called them.
You're lying. Get in the plane.
You see?
All right, freeze, Chandler.
Slide it over. Come on, Mr. Chandler, we'll take you home now.
Over here, Mr. Jones. They were just covered with aphids. But I think they're all right now.
Are you all right?
No, not yet. But I'm getting there. Well, it is so nice to see you again, Mr. Jones. I thought we might have lunch in the garden.
Yes, it's too nice a day to stay inside.
Well, come along then.
Mr. Jones.
Hello, Mr. Turlock. And the top of the morning to you, Mrs. Durant.
Lunch is served.
Well, can't win them all.
Shall we?